Okay, so next week, I want everybody to plan to be at Mastermind. It will be Zoomed next week in full. However, Quantum Leap was amazing. So for those of you that did go, I would like you to share, and we're going to talk more in detail over the next couple weeks about this. But for those of you that went, would you please share one aha from the day? Okay, where'd Brittany go? Emily, did you say you went? What, did you have an aha from Friday?
I do, but I also have a freeway in the background, so I was thinking I might put it in the chat.
Oh, no, you're good. We can hear you.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right, it's loud. Talk about, I have to go first. I think it wasn't really related. It was more about the investments and how to the whole lifestyle that you want and that sort of thing. I figured if Jean was saying that it worked, that it was probably a pretty good one to follow. And it's kind of one that I've already been kind of working in that direction. So it felt good to have the affirmation that I'm headed in the right direction.
Awesome. I love that. And we will talk about that. Is there anybody here or on the call that is interested in building wealth through investing in properties?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So we're going to go over what he called, and this is in if you haven't read the MREI, the Millionaire Real Estate Investment book. It goes in line with the MREA, the red book. A lot of the information he talked about comes straight from MREI and is really awesome. And next week, we are going to go over the lid where he talked about lifestyle, investments and debt. We're going to go over that because I think that that's going to be really helpful to you, whether you want to invest in real estate or not. It's going to be super helpful for you to get a clearer idea about your personal goals and where you can go with real estate and what you need to do to make those happen. Wouldn't you agree with that, Brittany?
Yeah. Sorry, I was moving because there were two meetings going on at once. So I was like, let me just get out of the room. But I'm here now. I wanted to add something else too. Are we ready to move on or not yet? About Quantum Leap.
Yes, because I want ahas from everyone who attended Quantum Leap.
Okay, so I'm ready to give mine.
Okay.
I was actually just right before this reviewing my notes because it was so good and I wanted to talk about them in coaching. So one of the things that I liked what he said, and I wrote down a bunch of stuff, was he said single agents can realistically do 30 to 40 transactions a year, and it is sustainable if you do two things. Number one, be seller based. So 50 to 60% or more are listings, not buyers, because we know that listings bring buyers and bring more transactions. Now, one of the things too, just that I think we should note as new agents, especially, is that doesn't mean that we shouldn't also be looking to work with buyers, because very often as new agents, buyers are what we oftentimes work with. So we don't want to disregard buyers, but we want to focus on listings. And that's, of course, what the MREA teaches us too. And the MREA comes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So it comes from people who have already built their business. But in the beginning, we may be building our business on buyers, and that's okay. So that was number one, be seller based. And really that shrinks your work week by 10 to 20% is what he was talking about. And number two, he said, most of these agents did the bulk of their sales with 2 lead generation sources. So they chose what they were going to focus on and they worked it over and over and over and over. And he said the vast majority did past clients and SOI, which is what we talk about all the time, your SOI. And the other one could be a target like an open house, doing open houses. And if you're going to target open houses, or if that's going to be one of your lead sources, then you do that consistently over and over and over and over. So I just like that because I felt like it specifically was talking to our group of agents who are just getting started and just getting going. And so often we get the question of, what do I do to get leads? And the answer is SOI, open houses. And that's what we talk about all the time. And this is for top producers. This is for mega agents, $1 million agents. And so why should that not be for us who are just getting our businesses up and running?
Yeah, thanks, Brittany. And I 100% agree. And one of the things to remember, when you're choosing a target, a second target, like an open house, that doesn't, to be consistent, doesn't mean doing them once a quarter or once a month. It means doing 100 a year, right? So it means being super consistent. And over time, that becomes a regular source of business. But if we just do them every now and then, or just as fill in, and if we don't do them with the proper marketing around them before, during, and after, then it's also a waste of our time. And following up with the leads that we get as well. So make no mistake, there's so many people want to try one thing and they do it for a week or two, and well, that didn't work out so well, so I'm going to try something else. And then they do that for a week or two, and that didn't work out so well, so I'm going to try something else. The one and done will almost never work. We have to be super, super consistent. And I love it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, on that note, what I love that you say is, oh, you did just enough to waste your time.
Yes.
I feel like anytime you say that, I'm like, yes.
And that is the truth. We usually do something just long enough to have wasted our time and money if we spent money on it, right? A perfect example of that, even though they're inexpensive, the Facebook ads that some of you are doing through Command, you know, you do it for a month and don't get immediate results, and so you give up. And when I say you, I'm not directing that to any one person. That's all of us in general, right? That's how we are as humans. And so we've got to do that consistently, week after week after week, not just once or twice and give up, because that is exactly just a waste of our time. Okay, Sam, you were there. What's your aha?
Can you hear me? Awesome. One second. Please.
Oh, sorry. This is stepped away.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So my aha was implementation. I feel that a lot of agents, and me, myself included, we fail in the implementing part. We are sponges when it comes to these seminars and these workshops. But when it comes time to implementing, somehow we can't connect the dots. So, and a lot of that is because of focus. We get distracted. Life happens, and I feel like getting us back focused is more about what you were talking about, the lid, because we need to really focus on, and I'm speaking to myself, really focus on the why, because that why should be so powerful that it just gets us up every morning, gets us excited, and wants, what we really, really want. And so just hearing the story of Gene Rivers and how he is where he's at, and what he's able to just, pay for his children's meals and flights. That's a joy. I live in a different country from my family, and so that would be a joy to be able to do that. Tell my family, hey, come visit me. I'll pay for everything, especially for my parents, because my parents haven't been here in a while. So yeah, implementation and focus.
Yeah, I love that. Implementation, and so many times, I don't care how long you've been in this business, if you've been in the business 25 years, if you've been in the business 25 days or less, right? It doesn't matter. We all sometimes can fall into the trap of training too much. So we go to everything that there is offered, and let's face it, Keller Williams offers a lot. Productivity coaching offers a lot. Right? So sometimes though, we have to pick and choose what's most important. That's why the calendar is color coded, right? you guys could go to every office's team meeting and learn something at every one, but is that the best use of your time? He gave the example of somebody had come to his listing clinic for the second or third time in a short amount of time. And has anybody seen Dean Ripper's listing clinic? He did one here several months back and it was amazing. But here's the thing, he walked right up to the person and said, "What are you doing here?" "Well, I just love your listing clinic. I just want to hear everything. I love listening to you. I want to hear everything you have to say." And he goes, "Well, if you're here, you obviously must not have implemented anything. Get out of here, go do it." And he didn't let him sit in the class. So that's so true. If you're going to go to a training class, obviously those of you that are brand new, we have a system for you to follow and you need to go through that, okay? But once you have gone through the basics, the training that you choose to go to needs to match what your goals are in your business. Not just because, oh, this sounds cool, right? And then you should go to the training with the goal of implementing at least one thing that you learned in that training. Because otherwise, what's the point? Again, it's just wasting our time. And if we're being honest, who sometimes will go to a training because they don't feel like lead genning? So in your mind, you're making it okay. Oh, I'm going to go to this training. This is going to be so beneficial. And then I won't have to make those calls. And yet I'm doing something productive, right? Anybody been guilty of that? I have. I mean, if I'm being honest, right? But here's the thing. What bold law do you guys hear me say all the time? Come on, somebody knows this. Starts with an R.
You can have reasons or results, but you
There
can't
you
have
go.
both.
You can have reasons or results. You can't have both. And you can sit and tell me all kinds of reasons why you didn't get your lead gen done this week, why you didn't set any appointments this week. And I hear some doozies from you guys, believe me, I do. Sometimes they're legitimate, right? And then that goes to if you erase, you must replace. But think about it. Think about how many ways do you find reasons not to do your lead gen? This is a within yourself question. I'm not expecting you to answer this to the group, but think about this. How often do you find yourself coming up with reasons not to lead generate? And then how often do you find yourself really upset because you're not having results yet or the results you want? So it takes effort in this business, right? And so that I had two other bold laws that I wanted to talk about today because of the shift that we're going into. We've talked a lot about this in the last couple weeks. And then after this thought, Claudia, I'm going to circle back to you because I know you were at Quantum Leap and I want to hear your aha. And Isaiah, were you there?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, just didn't want to miss anybody that was there. Okay, so the other bold law that I wanted to highlight today, which is especially important in this shifting market, is don't mistake movement for achievement, right? Goes right along with reasons or results. We can keep ourselves so busy. We can go to 10 trainings a day. We can perfect a buyer's presentation. We can work on an ad. We can do all these things that if we don't have business to use them on, don't matter, right? So we want to really make sure that we are in business, not busyness. Because busyness isn't going to get you anywhere. I can be super busy from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, feeling like I'm running around with a chicken with my head cut off. But if none of the activities that I'm doing equate to money-making activities, what I do with my business that day. So think about that. Any comments on that? Thoughts? Resonating with people? I see head shaking. Okay. Let's see. So the other thing that I wanted to highlight is do what you've always done, and you'll get what you've always got. So if you don't like the results you're getting, if you're not getting to your goals, it's time to examine what is it that you're doing. Go ahead, hi. It's time to examine what it is that you're doing. Are you doing enough? Remember, the shift book tells us that we need to double down now. That means if we were doing 2 hours of lead generation to set the appointments we needed, now we should be doing 4 if we're not setting the appointments. This is the market where we double down. And when we do that, we will see results. And the agents who learn to shift with the market will be very successful. Because guess what? I can guarantee you 80% of the agents out there, and Jean talked about this on Friday as well, 80% of the agents out there in NAR land, including here in this office and in any of the 4 offices, will not shift with market. It's a statistical fact. So don't fall into that 80%, be the 20%. So think about what you're doing, examine your business, examine your lead generation, examine the time you're spending on it, examine the reasons you're making for not doing those things, and really have a heart-to-heart with yourself. And reach out to us, the coaches, if you need some help, because we want to help you be successful in this shifting market. Okay? Email PC Ask a Coach. Reach out to us for, let's set up a 15-minute one-on-one. Let's go over your business and help you come up with some things. Go to Ask a Coach. There's all kinds of things for you. But it's really time to examine what we're doing. And if it's not working, what do we need to tweak? What do we need to change? And maybe we think what we're doing is fabulous, but if it's not working, it's probably not so fabulous. Right? Claudia, what was your aha from Friday?
Okay, well, there were a lot of good pointers, but time blocking was definitely something very strong in the conversation, in the learning. And we sometimes think that because we work from 9 to 5 or whatever hours we put in, we did we were productive, but no, we were probably doing something else that did not have anything to do with what we needed to do. So that was very big. And speaking about that, he mentioned something that time blocking or how you use your time will be manifested in the quality of your business in terms of how well you prepare your clients, and when you send them to the lender and they don't respond, they're not well educated. It's because probably we didn't use our time wisely and throughout everything that we do in our business. So that is something that I was thinking like, well, that is important because it's not just doing activity, but it's also use our time wisely. And also there are some times that we probably don't know what to do. Like, what do I do with this situation? And he said, when you don't know what to do, focus on learning something. So be resourceful and learn something.
Yeah,
so that
learn
was good.
how to do it. Awesome. Yeah, and so to be clear, when he was talking about training and waste of time, and when I was talking about it earlier, I wasn't talking about don't do training, right? Sometimes we need part of the 6 personal perspectives or the 6 steps to achievement is being learning based, always wanting to be learning, right? We just don't want to be learning so much that we have all this great information in our heads that we don't put to use. Awesome, I love that. And anyone here, would you just love to have a 6-hour workday and be done, go home to your family all the time?
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. And Adina?
I want a 4-hour work day. You know that book, 4 hours? 4 hours week. What is that book? Oh, I just read it.
4-hour work week.
Only 4 hours a week. A week.
Well, you can definitely build to that. You know, those of you that know Gene's story, Gene Rivers is wildly successful. He went from doing very well to having absolutely nothing when it all got taken away in the hurricane many, many years ago, to rebuilding back and building his wealth. And that's why he's so passionate about teaching what he teaches. Because if you just meet him on the street, or even when you meet him at a thing that he's teaching with Keller Williams, you would never know the kind of money this man has. Because it's not about money for him. It's about helping people. It's about the people in his organization making money and being successful and being able to have that life. He has built a massive amount of wealth. He has, I forget how many properties he said he has, including commercial and industrial, and it's some crazy number. I didn't write it down. But he doesn't work more than 6 hours a day. Even now. Even when he goes and travels and teaches these classes, he does not work more than 6 hours a day as a general rule. And so that's something that is attainable for everyone, but you have to work to get it there, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. We do have to put in some work, but that's definitely something that can be done. That also is about controlling the calendar, right? Not letting the calendar control you. Great ahas. Anyone have another one they want to share?
I have an aha from just learning experience. I didn't go to the Quantum Leap, but just from being inside your group and keep on falling off of course and not staying attuned, it just shows me ever since I've been out in the field and trying to figure out my lead generation, from open houses to making calls to the farm, you have everything already broken down. And if we just actually followed everything to our ability and tweak it the way we needed to, it will work. Because I put 30 days in from being in the office, and I've got a buyer that's in escrow, and I have a listing that I'm probably going to be able to get. So I realized the more that I put in, the more I'll get out. And I just have to be there to actually figure out what works for me. Not everything is going to be word for word verbatim what you guys have written down. We just have to figure out what part of that actually latches on to us, and we use that to the best of our ability. And now that the market has shifted, it's like a lot more work that we have to put in as real estate agents to be more informative to the clients that are even walking into the open houses. Because I got clients yesterday, I had about 11 families come in, and they said that a realtor haven't even looked at them. They just tell them to go in the house, and if they have any questions, ask. And it just makes them walk in the house and walk back out, rather than them actually trying to help the family or see where they stand. So I realized that's something that I would make sure that I do with every family that comes through the door.
Awesome. I love that, David. Thank you for sharing that. And that's true. We have so many resources for you guys. And we don't want you to be little robots, right? We don't want you to go around saying things word for word. And that's why it's funny, because I've had some people tell us even, well, you said this thing, but then Brittany said this, but that's not what you told us to do, right? Well, here's the thing. There's more than one way to do things. And that's the beauty of having a team of coaches. And that's the beauty of talking to other successful agents out there, right? There's so many ways to do things, and not everything fits in our personal box, right? The way I might like to do something, somebody else might not like to do it that way, but maybe this one piece of it will help them be able to get started. So I love that you said that, David, and shared that, because that's really true. We've got so many tools. You just have to figure out which ones are the ones for you. Love that. Anyone else? I would really love to hear. We've been having a lot of wins lately, and I would really love to hear from you guys. What are some of the wins that you've been having recently? Even if it wasn't last week, this past month, what's been going on that is a win for you that you can share to encourage the group?
I reach out to everybody that I get in my open house. And the command is a great tool because once I actually add them into my open house, I have an open house smart plan and it just reaches out to them and it looks like I'm actually being on top of everything. I put down my notes and they're actually responding and they tell me what they're looking for and a lot of other stuff. Rather than actually getting on the phone and being scared if they don't answer, they'll respond when they need to. And they can thank you for saying, thank you for not forgetting about me, or thank you for really reaching out. And it seems genuine. It is genuine, but I know it's hard to reach out to so many people at once. So command is great for me.
Command is awesome.
Well, and just to add on to that, that's one of the things that we talked about on Friday is that he just kind of mentioned, like Keller Williams has turned into a tech company. And, one of the differences between Keller Williams and some of these others like a Redfin or Open Door or something like that is that there are real people behind this. And so we want to make sure that you are the tech enabled agent. And that's something that we talk about a lot. And Gary Keller talks about a lot is the tech enabled agent. So he's pouring like billions of dollars into the technology of Command. And Jean mentioned on Friday that Command is going to be where we want it to be. It's going to keep improving and be what they envisioned it to be sometime mid next year. And I was excited about that because you guys know that I love Command, and David, exactly what you were just saying, for that exact reason. It helps me connect with my clients, even if I'm not necessarily the one doing it. And even if I might have dropped the ball, they still get a connection from me. And then Command reminds me to call them. And I'm like, oh yeah, whoops, I forgot to call. Let me pick up the phone now. And they are like, oh yeah, I've been getting your updates. I've been getting this. I got your text or whatever. They're already ready to engage with me, as opposed to me being like, I don't want to call them. What if now's a bad time? Whatever. So I love that you said that, because that's exactly what those smart plans are supposed to do. They're supposed to tee you up so that when you do reach out, they're ready and willing to talk to you, as opposed to like, I don't know who you are. I went to one open house. You're calling me 5 days later. I don't remember what house that was. So I love that you said that, because that's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, Command is amazing. It really is. When we use it properly, it's amazing. Who here is using Command regularly?
Sometimes.
A few of you. So I'm going to encourage you to really start using Command, because the things that it can do for you are phenomenal. A lot of agents pay for multiple technology platforms to do what Command can do all in one. And it is true. One of the things about Gary Keller is he isn't in this business just for the money. Like Jean mentioned, money is a tool, right? And money is good for the things that it can do and do for other people. And one of the things that Gary did 2 years ago was he poured $2 billion of his own money into Command and in the technology of this company, so that we can be a tech-enabled agent, not a company where tech has taken over, but we're tech-enabled, so that we can have all the tools that we need at our fingertips. And some of you have been around long enough for this to make sense, and others maybe not. But 2 years ago, did anybody's monthly tech fee go up? No. I've been with this company 9 years. I've paid $25 a month for 9 years. 2 years ago, Gary Keller poured in $2 billion, billion with a B, $2 billion, and did not raise our tech fee. That's because he wants to enable us. He cares about the agents. He cares about the company, and he wants us to be enabled. So I was very excited when Jean, like Brittany said, when Jean said by the middle-ish of next year, Command is going to be everything we've always envisioned it to be. And one of the things he said, in the beginning, they used to give us updates all the time on it because they were excited and they wanted us to be aware, and they've quit updating us. So we can get the updates if we log on and look at wherever you have it set up on your screen. But they quit doing that because sometimes there was lots of bugs. We all know this, right? And they're getting worked out, and by next year, it's going to be phenomenal. So get in there now. Get ahead of the game. If you are not using it, start using it. You won't regret it.
And if you see like EXP or any of those other companies, they're basically piggybacking off of what we already have. And it's just fully interactive. They don't even have like a workspace or an office or anything. Everything is going to be virtual. And it's like, we already have all of that stuff. So we just need to use it to the best of our ability before somebody else could actually be able to use it as a tool and make more money off of it. Because I feel like clients do like the easy part of everything just being interactive and you can send everything to them, but they do want a person that they can actually talk to.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah, and the way we do things is great. It can be both. It can be either or, a combination of the two, one or the other, depending on what their needs and wants are, right? But it's Gary's vision was to create a real estate company that would change the world of real estate. And he did that. And he continues to do that. And he continues to look for ways to do that. And when he started his technology, off on his technology, he's years ahead of other companies. So it would take other companies 2 to 4 years, even if they were to copy what has been done, to catch up. Just because he has stayed ahead of things, he knew this technology, the need for the technology was coming before any agents knew that the need was coming. You know, everybody does things online now. We all know people love technology. And so that's why he got a head start. And that's why you see other companies attempting it and failing and not doing so well with it. And some of these companies are getting ready to go bankrupt, as a matter of fact. Which we won't talk about that right now. Okay. So, any other wins that anyone would like to share? I'm trying to flip this card with it. Usually there's screens on that side.
I just want to share something. I'm totally new and welcome everybody. And my win would be like finally get a Zoom meeting with you, Jody, and also with Bobby. So I appreciate you guys because it actually made me more sure that I picked the right brokerage for myself. So I'm really excited to be part of the team.
Awesome. Well, we welcome you and we're very, very happy to have you with us. And Isaiah, seems to me a week or so ago you had a win.
Opened my first escrow. So
Yay!
that was very nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hoping to get more soon. That's what I need.
Awesome.
Feel the jitters like me. Like I opened my first one, I'm like, all right, no money's coming yet. So what do I need to keep on going?
Exactly.
I got stuck.
Yes, so that brings up a really good point, guys. When you do get your first escrow, for those of you that haven't had one yet, and for those of you that have them, don't let your foot off the lead generation gas pedal. Because here's what most agents fall into. They get an escrow, they're so excited. Now they spend all day checking their email nonstop to see if anything needs to happen. And then they tell me, oh, well, I just got that check and that's great, but I don't have anything in the pipeline. What am I supposed to do now? What do you mean now? You should have been doing it all along, right? Never let your foot off the gas pedal. Because here's the thing, guys. People try to make me believe that for 24/7, for 30 days, 45 days, however long your escrows are, that's all you have to do is to work on taking care of that escrow. And I am here to tell you, it does not take 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 days to close an escrow.
Especially with your TC.
Yes, you guys have amazing TCs. So make sure you're using them because they're gonna help you through this. They're gonna do busy work, right? So you can stay in business and doing the money-making activities. Here's something that I would like, I'm gonna challenge every one of you to do something this week. And I want every one of you back at Mastermind on Zoom next week. And we're just gonna spend the first 5 or 10 minutes. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but I want you to do this as an eye-opening experience. And then we're gonna get right into talking about more of the ahas and dig deeper for the next couple weeks into Quantum Leap. Okay, so I want every one of you to track your activities this week. From the time you get up, or from the time you start your workday to the time you end your workday, I want you to track your activities, and I want you to track how long you spent on each of those activities. And how many of those activities during the day, what percentage of them were money-making activities or busyness activities, non-money-making activities? Because I know people that put business servicing in their calendar and think that's a money-making activity. But I'm gonna argue it's not. So if you're following up with escrows and you're scheduling inspections, that all has to be done. That's a given, right? But that should not be being done during your lead gen time. That is not a money-making activity. There is almost nothing during the escrow process, unless a hiccup happens, which they do from time to time, and then you'll handle that. None of those things are money-making activities. That money is already there. You just have to wait for it to close. And as long as you're doing everything properly, it should close. If you've had your clients pre-qualified properly, pre-approved before getting them into escrow, barring some unforeseen circumstance, that's already a done deal. That's not a money-making activity. So don't mistake business servicing with the money-making activity of lead generation. Going on an appointment, right? Getting that appointment into contract. Getting that buyer or seller into escrow. Those are money-making activities. Everything else is a distraction, unless those things are already done in your day. So track those activities for the next week. I think you will be pretty surprised at your activity. Who already knows they're gonna have to make some adjustments to their calendar after tracking this week? I think when we're honest with ourselves, and we all have to from time to time do it, because we can have weeks where we're doing great, we're staying in our calendar, we're doing the lead gen, we're doing the open houses, we're doing great, and then life happens, and it throws us a curveball, and we swing and we miss, and we gotta readjust. And life's gonna keep happening, right? It doesn't stop because we have work to do. So we just have to constantly be readjusting ourselves, not thinking just because we've done great for a little while, we don't have to look at things. I'm always looking at my calendar. I'm always looking at how I can tweak things and make things better for myself and my schedule, and to help you guys. That's why we make changes every once in a while, because they're necessary to keep our businesses relevant. Any thoughts, questions, shares, ahas? Brittany?
Sorry, I was writing something else. I was writing a note and then but I wanted to say something. Just based on what you were saying about if you do your due diligence, essentially, then your deals should not be falling through. We see so many deals right now falling through. There are so many back on markets. There's so much going on. And you as an agent can avoid that, like Jody's saying. One of the things we need to make sure that we're doing are those buyer consultations. We have to make sure that we're doing those. And we talked a few weeks ago in our Kickstart class about doing those buyer consultations. And a few key things about the buyer consultations is, number one, talking about the process. What does a process look for? What do they need to know? But also talking about the market. What does this market look like? What do the interest rates look like? What are things that they need to know that are going to impact them? And of course, we stay in our lane. If that is a lender thing that they need to talk about, we need to direct them to a lender. But that's something that we need to be aware of too. We need to keep our eye on the ball to be able to know exactly what's going on and dig a little deeper to understand their situation, because you do not want to get into an escrow thinking it's going to go well, and then like you're blindsided because now all of a sudden they don't qualify because the interest rates went up by half a point. So we need to make sure that we are educating ourselves, and then we're educating our buyers. And then on that note, I wanted to say something too, when we were talking about wins. This is kind of a funny one, but I wanted to bring it up because I feel like this is something I talk about all the time to you guys. And so I wanted to share with you, how it really works in real life. So I talk to you guys all the time about videos. And when I first got started, we, COVID happened right after I got started, the world shut down, everything. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a brand new agent. I don't know what to do. And so all I did was I had questions about anything and I would research it and then make a video. And everybody thought, wow, you know so much. And I'm like, really? I know nothing. I'm just figuring it out and sharing it. And it helped me understand some of these topics better. And so one of those things that I keep telling you guys to do is make videos, make a short form video, because on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these places are really trying to push those short form videos. So make a video and say, I really don't know about interest rates right now. Let me figure it out. And then I'll make a video talking about these interest rates. You do it one time and 150 people see them minimum. And that's 150 less conversations you have to have. You could go and have 150 one-on-one conversations, or you can send out a video and people are like, wow, that's cool. So just to give you an idea of kind of like the power of this and how this all works, is that I make TikTok videos for fun, really. I made a TikTok video the other day saying like, oh, I talked to a lender and this is what they said. Should you buy now? Yes, you still should. Somebody who does not follow me on TikTok messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, I saw your TikTok video and I'm struggling to understand if housing prices are so high, why is now a good time to buy? And so we were able to get into a good conversation. And I don't think that they're necessarily going to buy right now because of that or whatever. But the idea is that, number one, I know the answer. Number two, she saw from a whole different platform something that I had created one time, and she was able to connect with it and then connect so much that she wanted to reach out on a totally different platform. So just know that social media is a huge, powerful tool. And if you guys have any kind of social media, you have to be pushing it right now. And one of the things that you definitely should do right now is educate yourself. And one of the best ways to educate yourself is figuring it out yourself and then teaching somebody else. And so if you create a video, that's teaching somebody else. Create a short video, 30 seconds, a minute. It does not have to be long, and post it on your social media. And I guarantee if you keep doing that for, like once a week, twice a week, you're going to see people start to say, hey, I have more questions about that. They're going to start engaging with you and your content. And so, that can be one of your targets. That can be something that you're focusing on, is social media and driving it up. So I just wanted to, let you guys in on a little case study, just that was, it was so random, but I was like, I should share this, because this is what I constantly tell you guys is get on social media and get on what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with TikTok, then don't do it. Don't even look at it. But if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, then be on there and push it. Be on there as a creator, though. Don't just be on there scrolling for 5 hours and you just wasted your time and you're thinking that you're being productive. Like, what was the bold law we just said, Jody? Busyness. Don't let action. What is it?
Don't mistake movement for achievement.
Yes. Don't mistake movement for achievement. Just because you're on social media does not mean that you are achieving. You need to be productive and you need to be intentional about it. So I just wanted to share that quick tidbit because it just happened and it came to my mind as we were talking.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's so true. And I get asked all the time, should I create a different page? Should I use the one I have? Use the one you have, your personal page. That's where people interact with you. The business pages are great. We need them to have a landing page, command us some things through them, but that's not where the interactions come from. That's not where the personalness comes from. So make sure that you are using your personal page, whatever avenue you choose to use, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I guess people are doing these days. I guess I'm gonna have to look at that. Everybody's talking about it.
You do not need to. That's what I say. Use what you're comfortable with. If you're not on TikTok, don't start being on TikTok just because.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Now, if it's something you want to look into, great. But anybody here read the book, The One Thing? Yeah, it is a great book. If you've not read, there are 3 books that I'm going to tell you right now should be on your reading list. If you have not read them, and if you have read them, you should probably read them once a year. Okay? The MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the Red Book. That should be a given. Anybody here not read that yet? Okay, if you haven't, that needs to be at the top of your list. Now, make no mistake, it's called Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It doesn't mean you aspire to be a millionaire real estate or you have to read it. It's full of systems, models, and tools that will help you be successful in your business no matter what your goals are. And the truth is, if you have big goals, systems are sustainable and scalable to grow to where you can have that 6-hour work week and still be doing phenomenal, running a team, whatever else that you want to do. So read that, okay? The second thing is The One Thing. If you've not read that, make sure you read it. It is a phenomenal book and really can help you prioritize that 20%. And then thirdly is Shift. If you've not read Shift yet, it's incredibly important to read now. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be bringing you and we're going to be having discussions around that. So for the next week or two, we're going to talk a lot about Quantum Leap. So those of you that went, please come the next couple weeks with some more of your ahas. And here's what I'd really like to challenge those of you that went to Quantum Leap and had an aha. What are you implementing? And I want to hear about it next week, that you've implemented something, right? Because that's where we get the benefit. If we just go and hear all these great things and, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful, this will be life-changing if I do this, but we don't do it, why did you waste all day on Friday going, right? So I want to hear not just your ahas, but I want to hear what you're implementing. Okay, Claudia? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, and then we're going to be talking a lot about the Shift book. Adina?
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but do you guys have like a KW newsletter or something where you can just send out weekly about all the market changes, or where is the best source to go? I mean, I know I can go online always to, look up interest rates and housing and everything is online. But I'm just wondering if the company has anything to send out weekly.
Yes, each of your market centers send out a monthly market update. And they usually will either email it, post it on the private Facebook page for the company, for your particular market center. So that is provided every single month.
Okay, because I haven't got any. So.
Well, you also just started, so you might not have seen all if you go onto the Central Coast private Facebook page, I forget the title of it off the top of my head. It's usually there, and it's usually emailed out after it happens. It typically happens about the second to third week of the month. So
okay,
be on the lookout for the next one.
Okay.
Another good thing to just keep in mind are the weekly team meetings, because there's always usually an update from the lenders. There's the brokers talk. There's good information that comes from those. So you definitely should be prioritizing those.
Yep, and those are in your PC calendar. Make sure you're going to your market centers, though. Not all 4 of them. That's not the best use of your time. But they're all 4 in there for your convenience.
The team meetings are good just to show your face even when you're new. Because like when I hold like a broker's open for another agent, the affiliates come in and like, oh, we've seen you on the team meeting. So it just adds a little bit more legitimacy to you and gets your name out there and your face out there.
Yeah, it's true. And it's important to get to know the people that we work with, right? Because we want to build those relationships too. How we build those relationships can really help or hinder us in our businesses.
Well, if they see you putting forth the effort, they're more likely to give you an open house, or like right now I'm just messaging, I'm doing 3 showings this afternoon for another agent. Not that it's going to bring me anything, but it gives me exposure and it gives me experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Anyone else have any? Oh, go ahead.
I use the open houses because that's like a win for me. I called for agents. I know you probably look discouraged that you probably don't get anything, but you do get a lot of exposure if you use your time with those open houses. Like if you look in the PC toolkit, it tells you how to actually set your open house up 5 days before. And I use all of that time to actually do my door knocking, have my flyers ready, and actually promote myself around the neighborhood, in which I would have never been able to do that before because I didn't have a property to actually promote. And it did good for me. And now I'm actually known there, and I can look for more open houses in that area. So it's like I start realizing I have to strategize and work the area that I really want to work. So if I did one open house in this area, I'll try to do more in that area so I can keep on doing all my door knocking and trying to get as much leads as possible out of that area.
Love it. And I love to hear you're looking in the PC toolkit and finding things that are helping you. That's what it's there for. And if you guys ever come across something that you think would benefit other agents and would like to see us put it in there, just send it to us. Because we want it, that's there to help you guys. So if it's something maybe we haven't seen or haven't thought about putting in there, we're happy to, as long as it's for the good of everybody, we're happy to put it in there. If there's something market center specific that comes out that's new or that you had an aha with, send it to us too, because you guys all know there's market center specific folders in there because every market center has a little different nuances with their transactions and such. So make sure you're looking in there. That's where you can find the broker numbers and you know, if you need to get a hold of your front desk, your MCA, all of that information's in there. Alrighty guys, well it is 12:27. Adina, did you have something?
Yeah, just one more thing. So I forgot to mention I'm kind of a returning agent, but so I love open houses. So I think that's one of the best way to get clients or buyers. So if anyone wants me to see their open houses, I'm so happy to make the time. I think they're one of the best, if not the best, especially when you're starting out to get clients and buyers. I mean, just think about it, like the neighbors always come to the open house, and those neighbors, one day they might want to sell their own houses. So it's definitely great for networking, talking to people. So yeah, please, anyone needs help, I'm here.
Yeah. And make sure if you guys do want open houses, you can put it in the WhatsApp. There are some agents that have listings that may not have time to do them. Put it in your private Facebook pages for your market center. Say, hey, I'm available. And speak up at a team meeting when they ask for needs or wants too. All right, guys. Well, great conversation today. And come back next week prepared to share your results from your money making versus busyness activities, where I'm excited to hear any ahas that you get from that. That's what I really want to see, is I want you guys to have those ahas. And then we're gonna dive in to Quantum Leap, and that's probably gonna take us a couple of weeks. We're obviously not gonna be able to do the whole 6 hours in 2 weeks, but we wanna dive into some of the key things that can really help you guys in your business, okay? All right, everybody, have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.